All right, welcome back. We're at the start of turn 3, and the first thing we're going to start off with, which is our friendly HQ event check. Flip our card, and sure enough, we got our walkie-talkie, so that means we are going to have an enemy or a friendly HQ event. So now we do a random draw on 10, and you can see we get a 1 with that. So we look up a 1 out of 10 on the friendly enemy HQ phase in our briefing book, and we see that we have a situation report. We have to spend 3 commands to send a report back to battalion. So if we do that, we get an experience point, so that's going to be worth trying to get done for our future campaigns. Okay, with that done, we're going to go ahead and move on to activating the company HQ. The company HQ is still in the staging area. However, we are now at an engaged current activity state. We're no longer at the no contact where we started the last turn. That means we lose the +1 bonus. However, the CO is still green, so when we activate him, we only have now the -1 modifier for him. So let's go ahead and see what we get. Okay, so we get a 2, we're going to subtract 1, and the CO gets a whopping 1 command again this turn. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and only use the 1 command that he just received, and we're going to go ahead and activate first platoon. So we'll spend his 1 command, mark him as done, and go ahead and get the first platoon ready to go. Now we're going to move on and activate the first platoon, so we go ahead and draw for him. First platoon is currently sitting inside the strong building in the village, so he's going to get a +1 modifier for being undercover, and still the -1 modifier for being green for a net modifier of 0. And for him, we draw a 3. So we're going to give the first platoon HQ 3 commands to use. All right, let's go take a look at the situation on the board. Okay, so what we've got right now is that we still have that bunker up at our objective, and we still can't see him yet. So we need to go ahead and see about getting him spotted. And since we do have first platoon basically in place here in the village, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send an order up to the 2nd squad and the HQ to move up to the upper level. So 2-1 and the HQ are both going to move to the upper story. Now by doing that, by getting up to that upper level, they can now see over this hedgerow that's been blocking their line of sight and can now see into the farm. And so now I'm going to spend 1 more command to order 2-1 to attempt to spot. So the spotting attempt here is going to be a base draw of 2, +1 for being at the higher elevation here, +1 for the automatic fire that's coming from the heavy machine gun in that bunker, and then -1 because the target is undercover. So that's going to be a net modifier of 3, or +3. Or sorry, not +3. It's a net draw of 3 cards. So we'll go ahead and draw our 3 cards. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And because we got our target symbol, we have a spot. So with that, that allows us to remove the spotting marker, or the potential contact question mark marker that shows he was unspotted. Immediately, the squad here in the hedgerow is going to go ahead and open fire. So we're going to go and flip that PDF to show that there's fire from both directions. And we need to go ahead and place an all-pinned fire marker on the bunker. It's not a lot of fire, but it beats not firing at him at all. And that is actually going to finish out our first platoon turn. And that's going to take up all 3 of his allocated commands. 2 for moving himself and the 2-1 up to the 2nd level, and then 1 more for the spotting order. Okay, we're going to go ahead and activate the 2nd and 3rd platoon leaders now in the initiative phase. So the 2nd platoon is still in the staging area, so they're going to get just the -1 modifier for being green. So we go and draw their initiative draw. And so we draw a 2 and we subtract 1 from that, and 2nd platoon is going to get 1 command. 3rd platoon is actually undercover right now in the hedgerow, so 3rd platoon's modifier is going to be +1 for being undercover, -1 for being green, and he draws a 2, so he's going to get 2 commands for that. So 3rd platoon is going to move up to there. Okay, 2nd platoon is going to go ahead and use 2 commands to order up the 2nd platoon in a platoon move. So that entire stack is going to move up to the hedgerow, and of course get marked with an exposed marker. And 2nd platoon is going to go ahead and try to get some crossfire up on that bunker. And so to do that, we're going to order the 1-2 forward. And the 1-2 is going to move forward here. Again, put an exposed marker on him. And because of that, we now get to add another PDF marker on our bunker, because he's automatically going to open fire at the visible units. That is also going to flip that all pinned marker to be small arms fire. So all pinned would mean that everybody was pinned, but since this unit's not pinned, they're going to be able to up that to the all pinned. And finally, we're going to get to add a crossfire marker to that. And there's the crossfire marker. Okay, so now we're starting to get a little bit more firepower on that bunker up ahead. Now, 3rd platoon is going to try to get some more units up to see if we can't spot this LMG nest up here. So first thing 3rd platoon is going to do is he's going to go ahead and order the 1-3 into the marsh. And again, we get an exposed marker for that. And the goal here is that if we end up with getting a spot, we'll end up again with having crossfire back in that LMG. So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish there. The other thing is right now we've got this pinned unit down here, so he's not going to be all that effective even if we can get a good spot. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to infiltrate our bazooka forward. And if we can infiltrate, we get to move him up there without having to place the exposed marker. So to use that infiltrate order, we're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards for that. So 1, 2, whoops, we got our reshuffle. And our silhouette tells us that our infiltration was successful. So it's going to go ahead and move forward. And he's going to move undercover, of course. And we do not need to put an exposed marker on top of him. And now we'll go ahead and get the deck shuffled up. Okay, now we're on to staff initiative. That's going to be 1 command each for the XO and the 1st sergeant, since they both haven't been activated this turn. I am actually going to use the 1st sergeant. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and take the 1st sergeant, the artillery observer, and the 50 cal machine gun, and we're going to move all of those up to the 2nd story of our village so that they can start putting some fire on that bunker. So we're going to go and move them up and into the upper story. They are going to get exposed, of course. And that 50 cal cannot open up this turn because it is tripod mounted, and so that means that it can't move and fire in the same turn. So we'll have to wait till next phase to place the PDF for that particular unit. Now that's going to burn up 3 of the 1st sergeant's commands, but I think it's worth it to get those guys up there. And the XO, we're going to go ahead and bank the XO's turn. So now our next step is to go ahead and draw for our general initiative phase. So we're going to go and draw 1 card for general initiative. And this time we got a 4, which is a fantastic draw. So we've got a lot of units getting out there on their own. So we're going to go ahead and take full advantage of these 4 initiative draws. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attempt to spot the LMG using the 1-3 squad over here. So we're going to go ahead and issue a spotting order for that. So that's going to be, again, a base draw of 2 cards, plus 1 because of the AVOF that it's placing, and minus 1 for the fact that it's undercover. So we're going to draw 2 cards for that. And again, we got our target symbol, so we actually did spot the LMG this turn. So we can go ahead and remove the LMG's potential contact marker there. And again, what's going to happen now is we're automatically going to flip that and create some PDF there. And we need to go ahead and create PDF from 1-3 as well. And the best fire in this case right now is going to be, we got pinned over here, and we've got the small arms fire from 1st to the 3rd. So small arms fire is going to be our best VOF. So we're going to place that on the card. And again, we've got fire coming from 2 different directions. So we're going to get to place our crossfire on top of that as well. Okay, so that's great. We've got him spotted. We can see him. We can now attack him. So our next move is going to be to go ahead and take advantage of, let's see, actually we're going to go ahead and take the 1-3 and attempt to seek cover and see if we can't get him back under cover. So again, we have a draw of 4 to seek cover. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And no joy there. We got no cover on any of those. So no cover for 1-3. We've used 2 of our 4 general initiative now. For our 3rd, we're going to go ahead, and we successfully got that bazooka to move forward. We're going to go ahead and have him launch a grenade attack against that light machine gun. So for that, it's pretty simple. It's just going to be a draw of 2, and we're looking for the grenade marker. Oops, we got to reshuffle again already. And we did not get the grenade marker on our cards, so that means our grenade didn't hit. But that's not the worst thing in the world. We do at least get a grenade miss marker, which is going to go ahead and add another -1 VOF on that. And again, that targets an individual unit or a cover marker. In this case, there's only 1 cover marker and 1 unit on the card, so we don't need to worry about which one that was. And then finally, well, we need to shuffle. Let's get that done now. Okay, we finished shuffling. We're going to go ahead and now use our final general initiative point, and we're going to try to get this squad here under cover. So we're going to draw 3 cards for that. So we get 1, 2, and 3, and that's no cover for that squad either. Not a lot of luck finding cover this turn. Okay, with that, we're done with our initiative phase, and we're now ready to move into the enemy phases. So we're going to start with an enemy HQ event check. So we draw our card for that, and we have no enemy HQ event this turn. Now we definitely have enemies on the board, so we need to go ahead and determine which order we're going to do our enemy activity checks in. We have 3 cards that have enemies on them, and I'm going to go ahead and resolve those randomly by just assigning the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to each of those cards. We'll draw a card for 3, and we see we're going to do number 2 first, so that's our bunker. Within the bunker, we've got a squad and an HMG. I'm going to go ahead and assign a 1 to the squad, 2 to the HMG to determine which of the 2 we're going to deal with first. And you can see we're going to do a 2, which is the HMG. So if we look down our lat charts, what we find is that currently thanks to our crossfire, that unit is under fire from a different direction than its own PDF. So we're going to go ahead and draw on the 4, draw a random 4 here because we are in the deliberate tactics. So, and a result of 1 is going to be no action. A result of 2 is going to be a concentrate fire attack. And a result of 3 or 4 on 4 is going to be a shift PDF. Now with the bunker, that's going to be a problem because it can't shift PDF because the bunker forces it to point in the same direction. But we'll see what we get. Okay, so we're going to go and draw for the HMG. And again, a random 4. And we get a 2. And so the 2 is a attempt to concentrate fire. So that's a base draw of 2 cards plus 1 additional card for being tripod mounted. So we're going to draw 3 cards and look for that target marker for the concentrate fire. And there's 3, and you can see we did not get the concentrate fire marker. So the squad in that bunker is in exactly the same place, getting fire from a direction other than its PDF. So again, it's going to draw, attempt to concentrate, or it's going to draw on a random 4. And on a random 4, we get a 2 again. So a 2 here again means to attempt to concentrate fire. It only gets the base 2 card draw. So we draw 2, and we do in fact get a concentrate fire marker. So we're going to go ahead and place a concentrate fire marker onto the unit under fire here. Okay. Now we have 2 remaining units, German units. So again, I'm going to resolve those randomly using my mechanism of labeling them 1 and 2. So a 2 is going to be the right unit over in the orchard. So in this case, as I march down the chart, the first one to apply is not under fire, but has opened fire, placed PDF. And again, in deliberate mode, automatically attempts a grenade attack. I don't even have to figure out what he wants to do. He's automatically going to attempt a, well, he would attempt a grenade attack if he had the weapon to do so. Instead, he's going to concentrate fire because he's a card away. So again, we'll draw 2 cards for concentrate fire. And again, this time we actually get it. So we get another concentrate fire marker. Concentrate fire markers can absolutely stack. So that's what we've got here. Okay. All right, finally we have our LMG. And our LMG is in the same boat as the bunker basically. He's taking fire from a direction other than his PDF. And so he's going to go ahead and draw with a random 4. And in this case he gets a 1. And a 1 for this is no action. So he does nothing differently this turn. And with that, we are done with our enemy activity checks. Okay, we have no mutual capture and retreat phase this turn, no mutual vehicle or aircraft phase this turn. We're going straight now into the mutual combat phase. And the first thing we're going to do here is we don't have any fire missions on the board, so we're going to go ahead and evaluate our potential contacts. And what we have here are 2 potential A contacts. And so, again, they're both of equal importance, so I'm going to go and resolve them randomly. So I'll go ahead and set that as 1, that is 2, and we'll figure out which one to resolve first. And we get a 1, so we're going to resolve this PC marker first. And a PC marker A, when we're at engaged, is going to be a 5-card draw. So we'll go ahead and draw 5 cards for the word contact. We already have it. Okay, we did in fact get our contact, so we're going to go ahead and draw a random 10 to determine what contact we got. And we get another 6, which if you'll recall from turn number 2 is a strong point. So that means we're going to need to place a bunker and a squad under trenches in a separate card. Now, we can't legally place anything with where there's already an enemy unit. So since all of the resolutions in this case are going to resolve to front, either left, front, or right, the only 2 potential places that are actually legal at this point for the placements of these 2 different cards worth of enemy troops are going to be in the not yet existent card here and the farm here. So what I need to determine is basically where am I going to put the strong point. And I'm going to do that simply by setting up just a random number generator. I'm going to say I'm going to pick a random 2, and if I get a 1, I'm going to place the strong point here. And if I get a 2, I'm going to place the strong point there. And we reshuffle our deck here, and we get a 1. I'm going to go ahead and place our card first, our terrain card, and we get a goalie. And we're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and place the bunker and the heavy machine gun on our new goalie. And we need to go ahead and do our draw for our replacement squad. And we get the 2-3. That's going to go into there as well. And again, these come on the map unspotted. So I'll have to try hard to find those later. They go ahead and place a PDF against the unit that spotted them. And that is going to be automatic weapons fire PDF. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and find the squad for the other side. And here we get the 3-1. And that is going to get placed under trenches. And again, automatically opens up on the unit that triggered it. And of course that could change with a activity check. But for now, it's going to go and continue to fire at that unit. And we have to go ahead and place our crossfire on there. Okay. All right, that resolves that contact. Now we can go ahead and resolve the potential contact over here. And for that, again, we're still engaged, still a PCA, so we're going to draw 5 cards for contact. And we've got it. So we do have a contact again. We're going to go ahead and, whoops, we got a reshuffle already. And we're going to draw for the package, and that package is going to be package number 2, which is a light machine gun nest. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck first, and then we'll go ahead and draw for that location. Okay, with the card shuffled, we need to figure out where we're going to place the LMG. So we go ahead and draw for placement on a random 10. And we get a 7. Now a 7 is at front left at max LOS. Problem with that is we've already got an enemy unit here, and we can't place a new package on top of an existing enemy. So we've got to go ahead and draw again until we get a legal placement. So we'll go ahead and draw again. This time we draw a 3, and a 3 is front at max LOS. So this hedgerow has the white borders on the front and back side of that card. That means that LOS actually extends through. So we need to go ahead and draw another card. We draw a cemetery. Now the cemetery has basically got open line of sight on all sides. So you might think that we would go ahead and draw another card further back. However, the light machine gun does have a range of L. And because of that, if we were to draw one more card, that would put the range all the way out at very long instead of long. We're going to go ahead and stop and place our units on the cemetery. And in this case, this unit is placed under foxholes. That's the default marker. Okay. And again, that unit is unspotted. I just realized I forgot to mark this unit, which again, per package instructions I put under trenches, it's also unspotted. Okay. This unit is going to go ahead and place a PDF marker back towards the unit that triggered it. And it's going to place automatic weapons fire on that orchard. Now, while it kind of stinks to get another machine gun nest out there, one of the things it does do for me is, in addition to clearing off that PC marker, because this unit is firing through a PC marker, I get to remove that PC marker as well. So that gets one more card cleared. Okay, with the potential contact markers done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the combat effects phase. And I tend to do this Germans first and then my guys, and I do them from left to right. Since all the combat effects are simultaneous, it doesn't actually matter what order I do these in. So I'm going to go and start over here with the LMG nest. And the LMG nest is facing 0 for the small arms fire, -1 for the crossfire, -1 for the miss on the grenade, the bazooka launch I had earlier, +1 for being under foxholes, and +1 for the card's built-in defensive mechanism. So that's a net combat modifier of 0. We'll go ahead and draw our card. And we see that a 0 is a hit. So we draw another card to see what the hit effect is. And that hit effect here is, in fact, a casualty. So I get to go ahead and remove the LMG and replace him with a casualty marker. That was a great shot. Now we're going to go ahead and swing across and resolve our bunker. Don't expect too much more on this one, since again here what we have is the 0 for small arms, the -1 for the crossfire, so that's the good news. The bad news is the +2 for the card and the +3 for the bunker, so that's +5 -1 is going to give us a total of +4. Okay, we'll do the heavy machine gun first on the +4. And not surprising, the +4 is a miss. And then on the squad, a +4 is a miss. So absolutely no effect on the bunker. Now we'll go ahead and resolve against my guys left to right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and resolve the combat against my troops now from left to right. And we'll start over here in the woods. We have a -1 for automatic weapons, -1 for crossfire, -2 for exposed, so that's a total of -4. A +2 for being in the woods, so that's a net modifier of -2. The -2 resolves to a hit. And the result of that is a litter team. So we go ahead and flip the 1-3 to its 2-step side, and we grab a litter marker, drop that on, and of course now that unit is pinned, and that takes care of the combat for that card. We'll go ahead and move next door to the hedgerow. Here we've got 2 different results we need to figure out. We'll start with the 3-3, which is pinned. So the pinned is going to be a +1 modifier, +1 for cover, +2 for the card is a +4, -1 for the automatic weapons, so that's going to be a +3. And that +3 will draw, and the +3 result is a miss. The miss allows us to go ahead and remove the pinned marker. Now we have to go ahead and figure out the 3 weapons. That's going to be nearly the same. It's going to be +1 for cover, +2 for the hedgerow, -1 for the automatic weapons. That's going to be a net of +2. And that +2 result is a pin. So now the bazooka is going to be pinned, and the platoon will not be. Okay, now we'll move on to the next card. Okay, here we have the -1 for automatic weapons, -2 for being exposed, that's a -3, +1 for the orchard, that's going to be a -2 net. We'll go ahead and figure out the -2 net, and that is a miss. Finally, we're going to go ahead and move on to the rightmost column. And here we have, again, 2 units because we actually have already had a hit on 1-1, so we've got both the fire team and the first squad. They're both going to be identical in how they're calculated because the fact, they're both under the same cover. Both concentrate markers affect both of them equally. So that is going to be a +1 for cover, +1 for the pinned, +2 for the card, -1 for the automatic weapons VOF, -1 for the crossfire, and -2 for the 2 concurrent fires. So the net result of that is going to be a 0 NCM. And we're going to go ahead and hit the fire team first. And a 0 NCM hit on the fire team is a hit. And the effect of that hit is going to be paralyzed. So we're going to go ahead and remove the fire team marker. And we will replace that with a paralyzed marker. Now we'll go ahead and resolve the combat on the squad. And again, same 0 net combat modifier. And the result on that is going to be a pin, which he already was. And with that, we have now resolved all of the combat for this turn. And we are ready to go ahead and move on to, well, we need to go ahead and adjust all the volume of fire markers and the PDF markers. So over here, we're now switching over to all pinned fire. Again, even though we destroyed the Germans here, they're going to continue to fire at that card until we tell them to do something different. But they do go to all pin because of the pin marker. We lose the automatic weapons fire off of there, and this PDF goes back to being a single direction. And we still have automatic weapons fire in here. And I think that's it for all of the adjustments to PDFs and volumes of fire. Great. With that, we can go ahead and move on to the cleanup phase. Lots of exposed markers to move this turn. Concentrate fire markers are removed. Our grenade miss is removed. And that is the end of turn 3.